So, we're going to talk about smart online dating strategies for women 35 and older. Now, I want to tell you the truth from the start. Do you have to date online? No, you do not. In fact, most of my clients meet their partners offline after the energetic work that we do together. But some people really want to be online, okay? Or sometimes we just feel like we want to be doing something, maybe, right? That's fine, totally fine. If you are going to go online, let me give you an easy strategy that's going to help you be able to date with confidence and make you feel magnetic online and not get burnt out and disappointed and pessimistic about it. So this will help things be a lot less frustrating for you. So one of the biggest things that I see online and when I'm working with clients when they first come to me and they're online is I see women taking on way too much responsibility for the dating process without even realizing it when we're online, because that's kind of our jam. We are the keepers of civilization. We are the ones that make things happen, right? In terms of connections to be made between people. We're just always taking responsibility for that kind of thing. And so when we go online, we start to treat it almost like a part-time job. Like we get on there and we make our profile, we want our profile to be great, and then we start swiping to indicate that we're interested in someone, and then we start reaching out to people, and then we're trying to keep a conversation going with the people who've responded, and then we're trying to push it to be a phone call. We're trying to kind of get to the phone call or the in-person date and all of that stuff. We're really wanting to move it forward, and we're taking a lot of the responsibility for that on ourselves to do. So the thing about it is that we don't always realize that we're doing that. We just kind of go into making things happen mode, and then suddenly we're feeling really drained and resentful about doing all that work, and we're meeting a bunch of men online or encountering a bunch of men online who are not really justifying our efforts. We're encountering the wrong kinds of men, like men who just are not a match to us. We're encountering men who make things sexual right away, or we're encountering men who are kind of lazy in terms of initiative, and they're not really reaching back out to us, and they're not really taking a lot of responsibility to have a conversation, those kinds of things. Or they say that they're going to respond at a certain time, and then they don't, and then they disappear, they fall off the face of the earth, and then they come back in a week and they're like, hey, what's up, what's going on? Okay, so that can be a really very frustrating experience, and it's a really difficult thing, right? Because we take on all this responsibility for the online dating process, and we just really go at it. We give it a lot of effort, we give it a lot of energy, right? And then we're meeting these men who are not really right. We're connecting with these men who are not very serious. We're connecting with these men who don't have any kind of follow through, and essentially are kind of wasting our time is what it feels like. So the combination of doing all of that work and meeting the wrong kinds of men makes us feel really drained and resentful and really pessimistic about online dating. And then on top of that, we're trying to decode every little message. We're trying to decipher mixed signals. We're doing all these things. So I want to give you some mindset shifts to really make this process easier for you. And then at the end of this, I'm going to give you a link to a masterclass that I have for you that's free, that's all about how to date online in a way that is smart, in a way that is strategic, in a way that really just gives you lots of confidence and ease, and lets you be able to relax into your femininity, lets you be able to relax into that magnetism, that natural magnetism, so that it's not a thing of you're on there and you're trying to, you're trying to make things happen. That's not really necessary. We don't have to get on there and make things happen. That's not what it's about. So the shift that we're making here is that we're recognizing that when we move with this new energy, we're going to change what we attract to us, right? And it's really healthy feminine energy in action, because we're not forcing, we're not chasing, we're allowing and we're receiving. Right? We want to be in that receptive energy. If you're into pursuing guys, this isn't a strategy for you. and God bless, do whatever you want to do that you're into. This is specifically a strategy for women who want to be able to relax into their feminine energy and enjoy being pursued in like a gentlemanly way by men who are serious and commitment minded. So this is a strategy for that. This is not if you're, if you really love the chase and you love the drama and stuff like that, then God bless, more power to you, but this is a different strategy. This is not for that. So how do you make this shift? Dating online works a lot better when you stop doing all of the work that you're doing and you start to let men demonstrate their interest through their effort and consistency, right? So what does that mean? That means that we change what we're doing. So instead of initiating, we are responding to people who have already demonstrated interest. So it starts from when you first go online. When you first go online, you create an amazing profile, which I show you how to do in the class, that's authentic and that is really easy, and it's that lets you really show up in a very like lighthearted way, right? Because dating should be fun. It's not supposed to be this really serious thing. We don't go from strangers to lovers, full on, everybody's all in. That's not how it goes. A lot of times with dating, we sit down across from a stranger at a table and we look for reasons to fall in love with them. That's not how dating works. The most successful relationships, the most sustainable relationships, are relationships where it goes dating to friends to lovers, right? We have to build it on something. Plus, when we try to jump right into lovers from strangers, it puts a lot of pressure on everybody in the first couple of dates, and we feel that. We feel this, this pressure and this tension that is about living up to a romantic ideal, right? And we're not really able to relax into our authentic selves. We feel like we're trying to keep up this like exciting facade of this version of who we are. And men feel the same way. They feel like they're supposed to be some kind of, like super ultra romantic guy, and that if they set the bar at that, how are they supposed to keep the bar at that, right? It's kind of a weird thing, but it's something that we do. So what we want to do instead is we want to shift this mindset, and we want to allow men to demonstrate their interest in us through their effort. When I was dating this way, I was so much happier, and the type of men who I dated, the type of men who were attracted to me, who were pursuing me, it was a completely different caliber of man. And when I advised my clients to start dating this way, it was the same thing, and so many of them, the point of dating really for most of us is that we wanted to date so we can meet our person and stop dating, right? That's what we want to do. So this really helps us to weed out people who are not serious. This really helps us to weed out the people who are not commitment minded. This really helps us to weed out people who are game players. This really helps us to weed out people who are who are only interested in a sex relationship with us, a sexual relationship with us. So it's really helpful for that. So what we do is we actually shift that mindset so that it's about allowing men to demonstrate their interest through effort. So what does that look like? When you go online, when you create your profile, you create a very magnetic profile, which I show you how to do, but you don't start swiping right away on like, oh, I like this guy, I like this guy, I like this guy, I like this guy. You don't do that. Obviously, the apps want you to do that so that they can try to use an algorithm to show men to you who you might be interested in. They want everyone to talk to each other. The problem is that puts you in a position as being an equal pursuer, right? But the way that you start is the way that you will continue. So if you want to be pursued, then you need to come in with that energy. You need to come in with that energy. You can't come in with the energy of like, I am pursuing, and then I'm upset that he never takes the first step. Now we've been dating for a while, and I'm upset that he never makes the first move, that he never takes a step, that he never plans a date, that I always have to drive, that I always have to this, that I always have to that, right? So that's part of it, is you are in a mindset of responding and not initiating. And you're watching for consistency before you give more of your time. So somebody swipes on you, right? He's interested in you, and then maybe he reaches out to you, right, with a message. You respond back, but you respond in kind. If he writes 3 sentences, you don't write a whole paragraph. You know what I mean? If you respond to him and he takes a couple days to get back to you, you take a couple days to get back to him. And you're not in the meantime going, is everything okay? I haven't heard anything from you. No, you're going to match energy. And you're going to wait for the other person to take the initiative. And that way you are always only dealing with men who have taken the initiative and shown that they are interested in you before you take any steps. So what you're doing when you do that is you're letting the right men rise to the occasion while you stay relaxed and magnetic. Right? That's the whole thing. Is online dating works for you as a woman if you respond instead of initiating, and you allow men to show consistency before you invest more and more of yourself. So why does this work for you? It works for you because you don't get stuck prematurely committing to somebody that you barely know. I've worked with so many women who were so much into online dating, or it's actually weird to say that. They had met someone online, right? Because online dating is not a real term. It doesn't mean a real thing. We're not dating someone online. We're meeting people online. You can't date online. You have to date in person, right? You can meet someone online. You can talk to someone online. You can talk to someone on the phone. You can text someone, but that's not dating. That's just meeting and communicating. Dating is when you actually spend time in person with someone, and the two of you are in the same room, and you are talking about the things that you like, and you're allowing them to get to know you, and you're getting to know them, and you're having fun. And when you're on a first date, all you need to know is if you want to go on another date with this person or not. That's all you need to know. It is not a job interview. It's not like something where you have to make a decision about what your level of commitment to this person is going to be, or expect them to have any level of commitment to you. It's just about getting to know each other on a first date. But so a lot of times what we do is we get stuck prematurely committing to someone that we don't know. One of the signs of doing that is that you're talking to someone online, so you stop talking to everybody else. Why would you do that? You're just talking. You're not in a relationship with them, you're just dating. Relationships and dating are not the same thing. Dating is not exclusive. Dating is getting to know each other. Dating is and it's something that should be really fun, and it's something where you're allowing them to get to know you too. Relationships are you have had a conversation out loud in your language and their language in words that are spoken, where you say, I am not dating anyone else and I want to be exclusive with you, and they say, I'm not dating anyone else and I want to be exclusive with you, in that order or the reverse order. Maybe they say it first, and you agree out loud with words verbally that you are going to be exclusive. That's when you're in a relationship. If you haven't had that conversation, you cannot expect exclusivity. You can't just go, well, I thought we were just dating. Dating is not about being exclusive. It's not about having sex with everybody, because we're not trying to make bonds with everyone. When we have sex with people, we bond with them. We're not trying to bond with everybody that we don't even know yet, right? But we're just saying, like, you can get to know multiple people while you're dating. And then once you decide you want to be exclusive with someone, then you're committed to that person, right? And that's what you should expect. Men sort of understand this in a way that a lot of times women do not. Women expect exclusivity from a first date without a conversation. And then if a man doesn't ask you out on a second date, you're like, he didn't even call me to break up with me. He doesn't have to break up with you, love, because you were not in a relationship. You were just dating. Okay? So when you have the mindset of like, I'm going to allow myself to be pursued, the way that it changes your energy online means that you don't get stuck prematurely committing to men that you don't even know that well yet. You stop wasting your energy on the wrong men, and you start to enjoy the process a lot more, because it's just about getting to know someone in a really fun, easy way. It's not about proving yourself. It's not about, putting so much energy into the whole process that it feels like a part-time job. It's not about anything like that. you know. So remember that dating is not about committing right away. It's about just getting to know someone in a really fun, easy way. And it's not a job interview. It's not a relationship yet. All you have to know at the end of a first date is, do you want to go out with them again? That's all that you need to know. So what does it look like in practice when we date this other way? When we're allowing men to demonstrate their commitment through their effort and their consistency? It starts actually with your online dating profile. So we talk about this in the workshop, and it is a way of sharing your confident feminine self. Feminine confidence is a different thing. It's not, it looks different. Feminine confidence is the belief that the world is a safe place for me and I'm going to have my needs met in this world. That's what feminine confidence looks like. It's not as much about competition. It's not about stuff like that. It's just about like, this world is a safe place. I believe that it is a safe place for me to have my needs met, that I deserve to have my needs met, and that I am worthy of having my needs met, and that there are men in this world who will meet those needs, right? And that I bring wonderful things and gifts to that relationship that are valuable, and that I understand my value. So that's feminine confidence. It looks a little bit different. So it starts with your profile, right? When you're dating with this kind of a strategy, and you're going to be sharing your confident feminine self. You're going to be smiling in your pictures. The energy is very light and approachable and friendly. It's not overly sexual, because when you start with that, you will continue with that. How you start is how you continue. So you're going to attract partners who are only or predominantly interested in a physical relationship if that's how you lead off. So you don't want to do that, right? So you want to think lighthearted, approachable, friendly, right? I had a client once who wanted to have pictures of her that were very regal and imposing, right? Because, and for her, it was like, it made her feel a very, it was affirming for her that she had a certain status in the world and that she deserved to be respected. And that is great, but it's more in alignment for like professional pictures for career than it is for dating and approachability and friendliness, right? That's a different thing. Because again, it goes from strangers to friends to lovers, right? So a lot of it is about how we create the profile. No lists of what you don't want. You're not going to talk about. Have you ever been on an online dating site and you've seen there are a bunch of profiles of people, men and women, who will make all these lists of what they don't want in a partner, and you're just literally thinking, wow, somebody really hurt you, and you are not ready to be out here doing all this. You're just not. This is not your time. Like, do some healing and then come on back out. You know, it's that kind of thing. You don't want to be doing that in your profile. You don't want to be saying what you don't like or how you've been mistreated in the past or anything like that. That is not what the profile is for. The next thing is that you're going to want to skip the apps that make you do all of the work. I understand that there are apps that are very woman-centered, right? It's like you're supposed to take the initiative. But understand, if you are a woman who wants to be pursued and you use one of those apps, you are attracting men who want to be pursued. Because those are the men who are going to go to the apps where women make the first move. So if you want to start, if that's the kind of relationship that you want to have, which is fine, but just understand that that's what you're going to create, then that's where you go. You go to those apps where women make the first move if you want to always be making the first move, because that's where the men are who want you to make the first move, right? Sometimes we go to those apps because we feel like it's safer there, right? That has to do with healing fears that we have about what we're going to encounter in the world. And that's why the work that I do is about energy healing. It's about healing the wounds that we have from past experiences combined with dating strategy, right? Because some of it is mindset and some of it is wounds. Some of it is energy, right? And we can't really do one without the other. It's like driving without your parking brake. It's like driving with your parking brake on, rather. If you try to date, whether it's online or in person, and we haven't addressed wounds from the past, we haven't addressed limiting beliefs from the past, we haven't addressed issues of self-esteem from the past, we haven't addressed beliefs about what's possible for you and your worthiness and what you deserve. If we haven't addressed those things and you're out there trying to date, it's going to be a lot harder. And if you do get in a relationship, it's going to be a lot more difficult to sustain. So we want to do the healing, then we want to do the dating part. Those things work together. Hey, Nisi. So those things work together. So, okay. So you choose apps that allow you to be pursued, right? And you don't automatically think worst case scenario, right? You think like, I'm going to use this app and I'm going to use it safely. And I know that if I'm on this app and I'm a wonderful person, that there are plenty of other wonderful people who must be on this app, right? It's a mindset shift. It's an energy shift. So there's an important shift that we're making there. Another thing is with messaging on the apps. You do not initiate messages, you respond. And only respond to messages where they're making a coherent message to you. If it's like 3 words, don't respond to that. That's not a real message. That's not even like minimum, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like we've all had those things where we have a message and it's like, the message is like, sup girl, in an emoji. That's not a real message. You can ignore those. Those aren't real messages. That's like bare minimum in terms of effort. That's not an actual message. You don't have to do anything with that. So you're going to respond to real messages. You're not going to initiate. What you're doing essentially is you're almost creating a funnel. I know this doesn't sound romantic, but my entrepreneurs will understand this. The vast majority of my clients are CEOs, 6-figure, business owners, and so some of this language kind of makes sense to them. And it's this idea that you're creating a funnel, right? You're creating a funnel where men move through the funnel based on their effort and initiative and consistency, right? So you respond and encourage each step through your response to their initiative, to their consistency, to their effort, right? They do something, you respond. Ooh. They do something, you respond. Ooh, they move a little bit further. It's not up to you to carry everything. You're responding. So you're not messaging, you're not initiating, you're responding. And the next thing is that you want to remember that dating is not a relationship. Keep that in mind. It's about having fun. It's not about locking yourself down before you actually know each other. You have to decide for yourself what your physical or sexual boundaries will be. My recommendation is that you actually wait until you're in a committed exclusive relationship to have sex, because it will cause you to bond emotionally with someone, and men do not feel the same intensity of bonding after those experiences that women do early on if they don't know you that well yet. It just doesn't work like that. And it's not because there is anything wrong with men. It is because men and women are not in sync in that particular way. When a woman has an orgasm, she releases a flood of oxytocin, and oxytocin is the bonding hormone that is strong enough to bond us to our babies. We have tons of receptors for it. It stays in our system for weeks. When men have an orgasm, they release a flood of dopamine. Dopamine is a feel-good hormone. It says, woo, that was amazing. It is not a bonding hormone. So we are not in sync. So if you want to have the kind of relationship where you get to know each other and now you feel emotionally bonded to each other, and it's not just you feeling emotionally bonded because now you've had sex and you're hoping that the kind of scaffolding for the relationship somehow gets built under that, which often doesn't happen, right? Then take the timing into your hands and be mindful of it. So dating is not a relationship yet. Dating is about getting to know each other. Dating is about you're not exclusive when you're dating, and you are just having fun, right? It should be lighthearted. It should be, even when you go out on the actual dates, it doesn't need to specifically be something that's romantic. When you go out on an actual date, do something that you would want to do with a friend, and literally tell people, I am looking for friends. I'm not going straight from, dating to romance. I'm not going straight from dating to lover. I'm not doing that. I'm looking for friends, because for me it goes strangers, friends, lovers, potentially, right? You're going to weed out a lot of people if you're upfront about that's what you do. You're going to weed out a lot of people who are not interested in making the effort to be friends with you. And that's a good thing. You want to get immediately rejected by those bozos. You want to allow themselves to deselect from the pool. That's a good thing. Being rejected by bozos is a good thing. And we don't have to take it personally because, we're making moves. So it's not about locking yourself down before you get to know a person. Get to know a person before you promise exclusivity, because a lot of times we'll get into a mindset of being like, I hope he chooses me. I hope he chooses me. I hope he chooses me. Instead of a mindset of remembering that it's up to us to choose. We are also the choosers. It's not just, I hope that, I'm kind of like auditioning as the most, the perfect girlfriend and hoping that you'll be attracted to me and hoping you'll choose me and want to be exclusive with me. No. Look at this man. Watch this man's moves. Do his words match his actions? Does he do what he says he's going to do? Does he have friends, and are they good people? Does he have ambition that matches yours, if that's important to you? You have to learn things about each other. What kind of a family does he want to have? And if you have kids, all of those things are even more important, right? And that's something we can go into in a little bit more depth. But we want to focus right now on sort of like the online dating, the online meeting, and how that all happens. So you're going to let this process move forward naturally, right? It's like you're messaging each other, and now it's going to be a phone call, and then it's going to be an actual date, and you're only doing that with men who are taking the initiative. In the workshop, how you can demonstrate, how you can kind of invite him to ask you for a phone call. How you can invite him, and then how you can invite him from the phone call to ask you for a date. How you can signal that you are open to having a phone call. You can signal that you are open to going out on a date. It's not about going, so we should talk on the phone sometime. It's not like you're not pursuing, you're not chasing. You don't need to be in that energy. You are amazing. You are radiant. You are lovely. Remember your value. Be confident in it. Be confident in who you are. Don't give in to thoughts of scarcity. Don't believe that there's nobody out there for you. Don't believe that, if you are in a bad situation or just a situation that makes you unhappy, where you and your partner are not matched anymore because you've grown and you're ready to move on. Don't let fears of scarcity, don't let your faith in scarcity keep you stuck in a situation that makes you unhappy, because there are wonderful people out there. You're out there, love. If you're out here, there are wonderful other people out here for you. Don't let scarcity lie to you and make you think that you're stuck, because you're not. You're really not. And it doesn't even have to be that hard, but we just need to make some shifts. We need to make some shifts in terms of how we're thinking about things. We need to change our energy. We need to change our mindset, because that changes what we attract to us. That changes the opportunities that come up for us. That makes it so that we attract things into our lives that are a match to our energy. It turns on our natural magnetism. You have natural magnetism right now. Sometimes we have things that block that. So we want to clear those things out. We want to switch that on, and we want to be confident in it. We want to stand in it. We want to know who we are, know our value, know our beauty, know that we're beautiful inside and out. Know that anyone will be lucky to be with us because of how much we have invested in our own growth, because of how much we have invested in our own healing, because of how much we have learned at this place in our lives. Women are magical creatures. We have magic. We create life. We birth civilizations. We are the foundation of society. It's like, if you want to really get super deep into it, we can get really super deep into it. You are powerful. You are a miracle, and you create miracles. So don't sell yourself short with online dating. Don't, be out here feeling bad about being rejected by bozos. And don't let the fact that there are a bunch of bozos online make you think that it's all like that. It's so frustrating when people are like, good. I'm glad someone message me. Message me, love. DM me. DM me and we'll talk. Yeah. 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 It's important, right? Because we need to remember who we are. It shifts our energy. We need to set our energy in the right place so that we're attracting who we're a match to. Because it matters, and it can set things in motion towards us to make things easier for us. We don't have to be out here doing all this other stuff. But we do need to have mindset shifts, and we do need to do some healing, right? And we need to come into it with the right energy. And that's really important. So the bottom line for this is that you don't need to chase, and you don't need to put in so much energy and so much effort. You really can let men rise to the occasion. You can set the stage in a certain way, which we talk about in this workshop. And then you allow them to rise to the occasion. And then you're only interacting with the ones who are doing that. Because they're the ones who deserve that attention. Right? They're the ones who are worth that time and energy and effort. Not everybody is. I hate to say that. But we don't have to be equal opportunity daters. We don't have to date people just because, they get an A for effort. It's not that. That's not how that goes. That's not why we're here. So you want someone who is a match to you in energy, and you're wonderful. So they should be wonderful as well. And he's out there. He's out there. That's the other thing, is that people think like, oh my gosh, but I want so much in a partner. And I've talked to like 4 women today, private clients in one-on-one sessions, and they all had initially some version of this belief that goes, well, what I want in a partner is so specific that it's probably impossible to find them out there in the world. How could he ever exist, right? I guarantee you he exists. Here's how you know he exists. Number 1, you know he exists because you have the desire for that person. The desire for that person is evidence that they exist in the world. But number 2, I've had so many clients that I've worked with who have had that belief, who are now happily married. So they didn't know that they were going to meet that person. They all thought that they were a tough case. And he was out there. Think about your best friend that you've ever had, your best friend. Now think about the day that you met your best friend. Think about that. Think about how amazing your best friend is, how well they understand you, how well you understand them, how much you're in sync, all the things that you've been through together, all the ways you've supported each other, and the preciousness of this person in your life, your best friend. Think about that person for a minute. And now I want you to remember the day that you met them. The night before you met them, you had no idea you would meet that person. And yet they existed out there in the world. They were out there. And you were on a course to meet them. Think about that. The same way that you didn't know that they were out there, but they actually were, that's the same thing with your person. They're out there. They're a real person. And they're thinking about you in that same way. They're like, it's impossible. It's impossible for me to meet an amazing woman who has a giant heart and is brilliant and kind and has ambition and a wonderful sense of humor. That's too much to ask that all those qualities would be in one woman, right? That's what they're thinking. But you're sitting right here. You're real. You're here. Right? It's true. So think about that. Just because you can't see them at this minute does not mean that they're not there. They're just as real as you are. And they're thinking the same thing about you. All right. So if you want to stop feeling drained and you do want to get out there and date, but you want to have more fun with it and you want to have better results, right? And you want to do it in a smart way that's a little bit strategic, right? Because you don't want to be wasting your energy. You want to spend your energy the right way, right? Then I want you to go to datingdoesn'thavetosuck.com and you can get that free masterclass for how to do online dating, all the way from your profile to the first date and everything in between. Okay, I walk you through how to create a profile that talks about what we're doing. No, love. And if you get it, if you go online and you watch it, Simone's asking, does it have to be online? No. Get the workshop, the free workshop, even if you don't want to date online, and it will help you. It will help you with each step of the dating process, right? From meeting to the first date, all of those things, right? And how you want to talk about yourself, how you want to even like dating, like where you want to go on dates and all of those kinds of things. It's got a lot of really good information in it. It's helpful if you want to date online or if you want to date in person and you're just like, I really just want to understand how to do this. I want it to be easy. I want to feel confident while I'm doing it. I want to do this in a smart way where it's just, I can date with ease and it can just be a lot more fun. It should be fun. Getting to know new people should be fun, right? It should be a really fun thing. So go to datingdoesn'thavetosuck.com and you can get that free masterclass. You can get it right now. And if you would like to talk about more private one-on-one support, then you can DM me. I would love to hear from you. And please remember that you don't make love happen, you make love welcome. And you can do that strategically by changes in our mindset, and we can do that by healing our energy from the past so that we are in our natural magnetism and our fullness of who we are, fully embodying ourselves and understanding the value that we bring as a partner. All right? So if you have questions or comments, let me know, and I'll be happy to respond to them here in the comments, or you can DM me, and I will see you soon.